Hi, fifth graders. Today we will be reading chapter 10 of Pillage by Obert Sky. Excerpt from section 5 of The Green Got Not as recorded by Daniel Phillips. The plants will know what to do. You must simply let them know it is time to grow. They will work for you only so long as you plant what you must. Once the crop is seeded, they will lose all interest in you. Chapter 10. There is a glow that won't snuff out. Principal Wells lectured me for an hour about nothing. He talked about character, integrity, and respect. Luckily for me, he had long, rambling stories to go with all of those qualities. When he finally stopped to catch his breath, I asked him what it was I had actually done. He stammered and said something about throwing lettuce and causing a commotion. I asked for proof. He told me not to be impertinent. He then warned me if I ever did the thing I had done again, whatever it was I had done, that I would be in great trouble. When I got on the bus to go home, everyone grew quiet. The seat next to Milo was filled, so I stayed by myself in the front row. After most of the students had been dropped off, I worked my way back to the back of the bus and sat by Milo. Kate was across the aisle. "You okay?" Milo asked. "Sure. Everyone's making up their own version of what happened today, Beck," Milo said quietly. "Good," I said. "Then maybe someone can explain it to me." "That was so weird, Beck." Kate jumped in, seeming much more interested in me since lunch. I mean, the lettuce and carrots were moving by themselves. I savored the sound of Kate saying my name for a moment before I replied. "Do things grow differently here?" I asked seriously. "Or do you make lettuce out of something living?" Kate shook her head. I can't wrap my mind around an explanation. "Maybe it's all the moisture in the air," I said. "The things that grow here are just sick of it and overly confident because of so much water." "But the salad was dead," she pointed out. "There must have been enough life left in it," I tried weakly. "What are you going to tell your uncle?" Milo asked. "To socialize more?" I joked. "I haven't seen my uncle. I'm not even sure he's up there. Miley could have killed him years ago, and now they just have to put up an act." "Up there?" Kate asked. "Up where?" "There's a room under the copper dome on the top floor," I explained. "It's such a huge house. When I wander around, I worry I might not make it back to my room." "And you found the basement last night?" Milo asked. I nodded. "Congratulations," Kate smiled. "What, was it hiding under the bottom floor?" "Funny. It's filled with dirt," I whispered. "Someone's even moved soil to cover all signs of it from the outside. But I found an entrance behind a wall in one of the rooms. It looks like there's a tunnel leading down. But something was moving, something that unlocked the door for me to get in." Milo shivered. "I'm going back tonight," I added, trying to sound brave. "I want to go," Kate whispered excitedly. "I get so bored at home. Take me with you." It was the most enthusiasm I had seen from her. I tried to act cool by shrugging instead of squealing. Apparently, Kate was up for adventure. "Me too," Milo said. The bus stopped at the last of the other students got off, leaving just us three and the driver. "Okay," I said. "If you guys can get out tonight, meet me at 2 o'clock by the outside doors, past the fountain and near the drive." They both nodded. "I'll meet you at the end of your drive," Milo said to Kate at 1:45. "But listen," I warned, "we have to do it quietly." When I asked Miley about the basement, she freaked out. And then the tunnel opening in a room that was locked. I've only been warned about 100 times by everyone in the house not to mess with locked doors. "So if we're caught, you're dead," Kate said. "Exactly." "I can live with that," she smiled. "Thanks." "Should we bring anything?" Milo asked. Yeah, a bucket of chicken and some movies, I joked. I was just asking, Milo said defensively. Sorry, bring a flashlight and a bat or a stick to stab something with, I said, feeling like I was extending a really morbid party invitation. The bus stopped in front of my drive. 2 o'clock, I confirmed. 2, they echoed back. I did my homework, ate dinner in my room, and brushed my teeth with a gnawing nervousness in my gut. I had acted brave on the bus, but when I thought back to how I had felt last night when that shadow had moved behind the wall, I wanted to pack up my things and take the first train away from here. It was a small comfort to know I wouldn't be going down the tunnel alone, but my gut still ached. I sat on the edge of my bed and set my alarm clock for 1:50. It was silly of me to even set it, seeing as how I couldn't fall asleep. At 1:49, I turned off the alarm and slid out of bed. I got the key from out of my suitcase where I had been hiding it. I left my room and made my way down the dark hall, feeling the wall for direction. There was no light at all tonight. I wondered if there would be any sign of light behind the wall. I stepped off the stairs onto the bottom floor and listened for sounds of life. Thomas was snoring in his room, and both Miley and Wayne's doors were closed. I slipped over to the kitchen and out the side door. The small window in the door let in some light from the lamp that hung outside above the fountain. I looked out the window and could see the lamp light exposing soft, drizzling rain. I couldn't see Kate or Milo and wondered if they would really come. I had a feeling Milo might show, but I was doubtful about Kate. Girls always talk big, but when it came down to it, Kate would probably want to get her beauty sleep instead. 10 seconds later, I heard soft scratching at the door. I pushed the door open and Milo and Kate squeezed in. Milo was carrying a big stick. Kate had a turned off flashlight. I was happy to be wrong about her. Sorry we're late, Kate whispered. Milo walks so slow. I held my fingers to my lips and nodded for them to follow. We made our way to the far hall and then down toward the door. The house was so dark that there were hundreds of doors, but I felt pretty sure I had found the right one. I tested the knob. Still locked. I pulled the key from my pocket and slipped it into the lock. Just like the night before, a crisp click echoed in the hall. Of course, last night, someone else had turned the key from the other side. Kate held onto my sleeve as I pushed the door open. We all stepped inside and I locked the door behind us. There was a faint light seeping out from under the wall and through the hole I had created last night. I motioned for Kate to hand me her flashlight. She did so, and I flipped it on. A tight beam of light shot out like a saber. I sliced the light through the room to get a better look around and to make sure we were alone. The windows were covered with black paint, and there were a few broken pieces of furniture scattered around the room. A table that leaned, a chair with a missing arm, a wardrobe with peeling paint, and a warped top. I opened the wardrobe to make sure nobody was inside of it. It was empty. I was surprised to see no other door or opening in the room. Someone had been in here last night, and had opened the door for me. It creeped me out to think that whoever it had been probably been in the room the whole time. I wondered how anyone could have gotten out since I locked the door from the outside. I checked the window and it slid open easily. The light rain blew in, making the space smell wet. I closed the window. This isn't a basement, Kate pointed out. I know, I whispered. It's down there. I shined the flashlight against the wall, illuminating the small hole my foot had made. We go through there? Milo asked. It seemed rather impossible. The wall was covered in thick floral wallpaper, and the hole looked more like a part of the pattern than the opening into a basement. I flipped off the flashlight, and As our eyes adjusted, we could once again see light coming from the hole. Milo crouched down and looked through. "Wow," he whispered. "Shh," I insisted. "Move," Kate said, softly dropping down herself. "Why would someone fill in a basement?" Kate whispered. "It's so weird." I reached down and stuck my fingers through the hole with almost no effort at all. I pulled up and the hole tore quickly. I tugged harder and the hole became 2-foot-long tear. "More," Kate said, getting to her knees. Both Milo and I pulled at the hole, ripping the wallpaper and busting out a nice long chunk of plaster. The hole was the size of a small person. I could see that the dirt tunnel and the edges of some buried stairs. Who wants to go? Kate wasn't waiting for an invitation. She pushed through the opening as far as she could, but it was still too small. She pulled back out. "It needs to be a little bigger," she whispered. We all took hold of different parts of the hole and slowly pulled. The wall broke open like a wet cracker. I tore off bits of hanging wallpaper and dropped them to the floor. As scared as I wasn't about to let Kate go first again. I took a deep breath and flipped on the flashlight again. I bent down and put my right foot on the top stair. I had to duck my head and squeeze through, but with a little effort, I wiggled all the way in. Kate was right behind, pushing me to move further so she and Milo could get in. "Hold on," I whispered, already regretting my decision to go first. The small tunnel made it difficult to move. Kate and Milo squeezed through as I slowly made my way down the dirt-covered stairs. The tunnel was about a foot too short for my tall frame. My back ached as I reached the bottom of the stairs, and the bend in the tunnel. I stopped, and Kate and Milo pushed up behind me. "What are you doing?" Kate asked. She answered her own question by looking further down the tunnel. There were different tunnels. "Which one?" she said. I turned off the flashlight and waited for my eyes to spot the glimmering light. It was coming from the left tunnel. I could hear something chattering again. "Can you hear that?" I whispered. "I think so," Kate said softly. "What is it?" "I have no idea." "Should we keep going?" I asked. Their response wasn't instant. I was about to turn back when Kate nudged me gently forward. I kept the flashlight off so that if there was something up ahead, we would have some element of surprise. Besides, there was enough dull light to see our way. I could see bits of furniture, material, and corners of the walls sticking out of the sides of the dirt tunnel. "Who dug this tunnel?" Kate asked, as if I should know. "I have no idea," I replied. "Someone determined. Maybe your uncle," Milo said. "Why?" I questioned. "And why did someone fill it up in the first place?" We turned another corner and followed the dirt tunnel about 100 feet. We passed 2 or 3 offshoots, but kept heading toward the light. "It's getting brighter," Milo said needlessly. At the end of the long tunnel, 7 dirt-covered stairs led down into a space the size of a small bedroom. Against the far side of the room was a desk sticking halfway out of the dirt wall. A wooden stool was resting in front of it. I could see an empty coat rack leaning against the wall, and the hearth of a fireplace stuffed with dirt. A single candle was burning on the desk. The brass candle holder sat on top of the stack of dry parchment paper. The air streaming through the tunnel rustled the papers and sent the sound of whispering through the air. "Who lit the candle?" Milo asked. "Seriously, man, how should I know?" I said, bothered. I bent down to look at the flame. I lifted the candle up, and like an idiot who didn't think things through, I pinched it out. The room was dark. "Why would you do that?" Kate said in disbelief. "That was—" A few tiny sparks shot up as the candle cracked back to life. We all stared at the flickering flame. Did you know it would do that? Kate asked. I suspected it would, I lied. The papers on the desk chattering in the light breeze. I grabbed a few and held the candle close to see if I could read what they said. Kate and Milo leaned in around my shoulders. The papers were covered in big flowery writing that looked like a different language. Beneath the papers was an old book. It was brown with a raised spine and a raised image on the front. There was so much grime on the book that I couldn't make out the image or what the title might be. I opened the book and flipped through the pages. I saw the word pillage on a few of them. What is it? Kate asked. Just a book, I said lamely. Cool, Milo said, excited. It might be important. You should take it. A book? I asked. I held onto the book as a slight amount of wind in the tunnel picked up and began to howl at us. Let's get out and come back tomorrow, I said. Nobody argued with me. I flipped a flashlight on and shined it up the stairs. We moved quickly back down the long tunnel. At the last junction, we turned right and climbed back up the stairs and into the room. Once we were all out of the tunnel, I suggested we push the wardrobe in front of the hole, just in case. Both Kate and Milo saw the wisdom of my suggestion. The wardrobe was much lighter than it looked, and it covered the hole nicely. I walked them to the side door and let them out. It was still raining, so they ran quickly away. I turned and cut through the dark kitchen. What are you doing? Wayne said, stopping both my progress and my heart. I shoved the book into the back of my pants. Wayne flipped on the kitchen light, gazing at me like I was a formula she needed to memorize. She stood only a couple feet in front of me, centered in the far doorway of the kitchen. She didn't look happy. She was wearing tight white leggings and a tank top. She looked more like a woman than I had remembered. You scared me, I admitted. You're supposed to be in bed. I was hungry, so I came down to find something. You could have rang, she said suspiciously. This late? I didn't want to wake anyone up. I'm awake now. Sorry. So you were getting food in the dark? I like to be surprised. Wayne didn't smile. Did you find something? She asked. I'm not hungry anymore, I said lamely. In fact, I'm feeling pretty tired. I ran past Wayne and didn't stop until I was in my room. I locked my door and breathed deeply. I like to be surprised, I muttered, shaking my head at the lame answer I had given Wayne. I sat down on my bed and looked at the book. There were a number of pictures inside of odd creatures and wild plants. Some of the pictures were of ancient and strange-looking dragons. One illustration in the front showed a dragon emerging from a stone. I didn't mind the pictures, but the writing in the book was tight and cramped and hard to read. I sighed and shoved the book under my mattress. It didn't help me sleep any sounder. Hey, my friends, that's the end of chapter 10. I will see you tomorrow for chapter 11.